Oi, tudo bem? Welcome to the Portuguese Language and Brazilian Culture channel. Today's video, we will discuss Brazilian colonial history. Brazil was discovered by the Portuguese navigator Pedro Álvares Cabral on April 22nd, 1500, in what is today known as the city of Porto Seguro in the state of Bahia, in Brazil's northeast region. He and his men were met by the native Brazilian Tupinambá tribe from the family of Tupi-Guarani American Indians. These native Brazilians were known for their constant warring with other neighboring tribes, and would often eat the enemy captives. The Portuguese explorers claimed the land for the Portuguese crown and began to look for any natural resources that they could exploit for their profit. The first of these natural resources that they discovered was pau-brasil, a tree that contained a red dye wood used for coloring fabrics. This was harvested for the first few decades of the Portuguese colonization of Brazil. Now we know how Brazil got its name. Soon after, by the mid-16th century, Portuguese colonizers began to plant sugarcane and found the tropical climate ideal for its production, primarily in the northeast region of Pernambuco and Bahia. Production of cana, or sugarcane, was an arduous task that required a lot of workers. It was at this time, in the mid to late 16th century, that the Portuguese became involved in the transatlantic African slave trade. It brought thousands of African slaves to work their profitable sugar plantations. By the early 17th century, other European powers started to test the waters, so to speak, and began to look for prime land in the New World to start sugarcane operations. The Dutch started to encroach into the Recife Pernambuco region of the colony in the 1620s and control most of the sugarcane cultivation and exportation until roughly 1650, when the Portuguese arrived with a strong military force to drive them out of the colony. Sugarcane production and slavery continued to drive the new Portuguese colony's economy until the latter end of the 17th century. At this point, gold and other precious metals were found predominantly in what is today Brazil's southeast region, in the state of Minas Gerais. Mining dominated most of the 18th century in Brazil, and even caused the colony's capital to be relocated further south from Salvador in Bahia in the northeast to Rio de Janeiro in the southeast, to a closer port city to be able to export the rare earth minerals. By the close of the 18th century, Brazilian colonists began to aspire for independence, like their American colonies had recently obtained up north. Joaquim José da Silva Xavier, better known by Brazilians as Tiradentes, or tooth puller, since he was a dentist by trade, started a secret independence movement in 1789 that was discovered and thwarted before it was able to spread across the colony. Tiradentes was hanged and quartered for his treason of the Portuguese crown and put on display as a warning to other Brazilians with plans of rebellion. At the commencement of the 19th century, Europe was being ravaged by the Napoleonic Wars of conquest, and the Portuguese crown and royal court decided to move the kingdom's capital to Rio de Janeiro to escape surrender to the Napoleon's forces. About a decade later, in the early 1820s, much of Spanish America had gained its independence from the Castilian crown, and Brazil was to follow. The Grito de Ipiranga, or the shout of it from Ipiranga, was a shout that Dom Pedro I was reported to have given on September 7th, 1822, when he proclaimed, "Independence or death." The King of Portugal, Don João VI, gave the Brazilian colony its independence, with his son, Dom Pedro, who had proclaimed independence or death, becoming independent Brazil's first emperor. So Brazil became independent empire or kingdom. It was not under Portugal anymore. However, it still was not a republic or democracy. Brazil's Independence Day is celebrated by all Brazilians to this day on September 7th all over the world.